Hello everyone, myself Dr. Bhunesh from Department of Prosthodontics. The topic for today's discussion will be on surveyors and survey lines. The entire presentation will be dealt in the following subheadings like definitions, objectives of surveying, parts of a surveyor, surveying tools, survey line, and the purposes of surveyors. The success in the practice of a removable partial dentures mainly depends on the knowledge what you have in the removable partial dentures and also a guided planning of each structural detail of the processes. Until early 90s, the most RPDs were designed by eyeballing method, which means the process that are made just with the basis of an educated guesses. But the turning point in the fabrication of an removable partial dentures was with the introduction of a dental surveyors in the year 1918. Before going in detail about the surveyors and survey lines, we'll just see few definitions. First, what is survey? The procedure of locating or delineating the contour and position of an abutment teeth and associated structures before designing a partial denture is called as a survey. And surveying is an analysis and comparison of the prominence of the intraoral contours associated with the fabrication of a prosthesis. A surveyor is an instrument used in the construction of a removable partial denture to locate and delineate the contours and relative positions of the abutment teeth and the associated structures. Survey line is a line drawn on a tooth or a teeth of a cast by means of a surveyor for the purpose of determining the positions of the various parts of a retainer. A guiding plane, which means a 2 or 3 vertically parallel surfaces of an abutment teeth so oriented as to direct the path of placement or a path of removal of an removable partial denture. The path of insertion is the direction in which a prosthesis is placed upon and removed from the abutment teeth, and the height of contour is a line encircling a tooth designating its greatest circumference at a selected position. Dr. A.J. Fortunati, the first person to employ a mechanical device to determine the relative parallelism of tooth surfaces. In 1918, he demonstrated the advantages of using a mechanical device to map the contours of the abutment teeth. The bridge parallelometer he used was originally designed for the precision attachment work. Coming on to the objectives of surveying. The main objectives of the surveying and surveying procedures is to reveal the favorable and unfavorable physical characteristics of the mouth that favor a successful prosthesis design, to determine a guided path of insertion which is free of interferences, to determine a design that resists the unseating forces reasonably, and to delineate the unfavorable undercuts for mouth preparation. The main factors that forms a basis for the designing of a prosthesis are the interferences, the aesthetics of the removable partial denture, the relative undercuts, and the guiding planes. These 4 factors will determine the path of insertion, which eventually helps us to design the prosthesis in a very easy way. Coming on to the parts of a surveyor, we have a platform and a cast holder or a surveying table, a horizontal arm and a vertical arm, and also a surveying arm to which the surveying tools will be attached. With the help of cast holder, we'll place the cast which we want to check for the parallelism will be placed and secured with the help of screw that is given under this cast holder, and the mandrel will help us to properly place or attach the different surveying tools. Different types of surveyors are available, but the most commonly and widely used surveyors are Nace surveyor, Jellicoe surveyor, and Williams surveyor. These 3 varies in 4 different factors. First, when you take the horizontal arm of a surveyor, and when you consider in Nace surveyor it is fixed, whereas in Jellicoe's and Williams it revolves around the vertical arm. Coming on to the surveying arm, in Nace it is passive, but in Jellicoe and Williams it is spring loaded. When we check about the locking device, the surveying arm is secured with locking device in case of Nace surveyor, whereas in Jelenko's and Williams surveyor, the spring tension holds the position of the surveying arm in both Jelenko's and Williams. Coming on to the undercut gauge, in Nace surveyor we have a circular and a beaded one. In Jelenko's and Williams you have a fan shaped bead which helps us to measure the undercut gauge. The most commonly used surveying tools are your analyzing rod, a carbon marker, an undercut gauge, and a wax trimmer. Now we'll see in detail about the surveying tools. Coming on to the first one, which is your analyzing rod, is used for preliminary survey of the cast. It also helps in assessment of the degree of undercuts on hard and soft tissue, and also in the assessment of angulation of teeth. Next surveying tool is your carbon marker. Basically allows the visualization of the analyzing rod's work, used for drawing survey lines around all the teeth involved in clasp design or that have proximal undercuts to be eliminated. This is also used to mark the extent of bony or soft tissue undercuts for prosthetic mouth preparation if required. While using this carbon marker, a light pressure without erosion should be applied. The next tool is the undercut gauge, which is used to measure the location and the horizontal depth of undercuts on the analyzed and marked teeth in 3 dimensions. It have 3 different leaves which measures about 0.01 inch, 0.02 inch and 0.03 inch. Where the same shank will be there, only the size of the tip or bead varies in case of your Williams and Jelenko surveyor, whereas in Nace surveyor you have different sets of undercut gauge. The next surveying tool is a wax trimmer, which is used to trim off excessive wax while surveying the wax patterns. It also used to prevent the over-contoured blockout of the unfavorable undercuts and also used to demarcate the exact planned clasp arm location to be duplicated. Coming on to the next part of the presentation, which is about survey lines. Survey lines primarily stand for the height of contour of the abutment teeth marked by a carbon marker during the surveying in a particular horizontal plane. In 1916, Prothero gave the same thing on cone theory. In 1955, Dewan stated this height of contour as a suprabulge and infrabulge. The survey lines are classified as high survey line, medium survey line, low survey line and diagonal survey line based on Louis Blatterfield's division of abutment teeth into near zone and far zone. When we consider the high survey line, it runs from occlusal 1/3 in near zone to occlusal 1/3 in far zone. When we consider the medium survey line, it runs from occlusal 1/3 in near zone to middle 1/3 in far zone. In low survey line, it runs from cervical 1/3 in near zone to cervical 1/3 in far zone. A diagonal survey line, which runs from occlusal 1/3 in near zone to gingival 1/3 in far zone. Angle of cervical convergence. This is the angle that is formed on the intersection of height of contour to the path of placement, which is generally noted in the gingival half or the infrabulge region of the height of contour. Coming on to the purpose of a surveyor, it helps in surveying of diagnostic cast, tripoding of a cast, surveying the master cast, contouring of wax patterns, placement of internal receipts, and machining of cast restorations. Surveying of diagnostic cast. To determine the most desirable path of placement, to identify the proximal tooth surfaces that need to be made parallel as they act as guiding planes during placement and removal, and also to locate and measure the areas of teeth that may be used for retentive purposes. To determine whether tooth and bony areas of interferences will need to be eliminated surgically, that is during the mouth preparation, or those that needed to be blocked out, to identify the height of contour, to record the cast position in relation to the selected path of placement for future references. Color coding. A color coding system for the various parts of a removable partial denture as well as for other items of information that should be included on the diagnostic cast helps prevent the confusion on the part of a dental laboratory technician or anyone trying to understand the design being proposed. There is not a present universally acceptable color coding systems. As a result, any system agreed to understood by a laboratory and submitting dentist is considered acceptable. The commonly followed color coding system includes a brown, which helps to outline the metallic portion. The blue color helps to outline the acrylic portion of the denture base. The red color used to indicate the areas of teeth that will be prepared. The solid red, which helps to indicate the rest and rest seats. The black or carbon markers used to denote the survey lines. A gist about the steps, procedures in surveying a diagnostic cast. First will be the orientation of cast, then cast tilting, then visual analysis using analyzing rod, then marking of survey lines, which marks the soft tissue undercuts using carbon markers. Then undercut gauge is used to measure the amount of available undercuts, which helps to determine the retention, the interferences, wax trimmers, and finally the tripoding of cast. Thank you.